Definition HP. Oh, I'm live. I'm live. I'm live. I'm live. Let me see. Hey, fam, it's your girl, Miss Diva Trucker, and I'm coming to you tonight with another video. Not talking about trucking tonight. Well, we are talking a little bit about trucking, okay? But we just want to have a general conversation, and I just wanted to, maybe see your thoughts on things or your perspective and how you look at things. If y'all haven't, I don't know if y'all pay attention to, now that I'm home, I could pay attention to like celebrity gossip and all this kind of stuff. And recently, over the past couple of days, one of the people that I kind of like looked up to and took, well, I can't say I took relationship advice from him. Eastwood Fifi, Miss Brock, did you secure what is your email? I could tell you by your email. If I You should have got an email today. I sent out emails today to people that were on my list. Tell me your email address. I could tell you if I sent you an email today. Hey, Kimberly. D, come on. Sid, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you want to join me on this live feed tonight because, hold on one second. I am going to post my my link in the description box, okay, in case you all have an opinion on the subject tonight. But tonight I just wanted to, we're not talking about trucking. We're going to talk about relationships and men and women cheating, okay? I don't want to, hey Rhonda, I don't want to make it a just all men cheat or whatever the case may be. Men and women cheat, okay? But this particular thing had stuck out to me, and the reason why is because I kind of watched this person, okay? So if y'all don't already know who I'm talking about, it's a guy on YouTube that is very successful on YouTube by selling books, by giving kind of like relationship advice. And, the ladies really loved him because it was like, oh my God, he was looking at such a wise perspective on our behalf, and I remember when I started looking at Mr. Derek Jackson. I remember I said, oh, he comes off, he's so articulate, he speaks well, and he is just saying everything that women like to hear and all this kind of stuff. And I got caught up in the sauce, okay? I'm gonna tell you, I got caught up in the sauce. I was I could vividly remember me being on the truck, right? And especially if you are having problems in your relationship or you going through something, or maybe not even that. You could be just let's see, you could be just, maybe not with anybody right now, but you could be out there dating or trying to meet somebody or whatever. And a lot of things he said was like what women wanted to hear, okay? Not necessarily that it was 100% true, but a whole lot of women wanted to hear it. It made us feel good. It was like, wow, okay, somebody actually gets it or whatever the case may be. And we never, question, the truth to what he was saying or whatever. You just kind of went with it because it kind of made you feel good. It was like somebody got it, right? And I remember vividly when I was on the truck and I was like talking to people on the phone, and I was like, according to, I had got to a point that I had started quoting this man, okay? And I would tell other men, and I would be like, well, did you look at the Derek Jackson video? And I need to see, I was sending his video to other people, okay? And I was like, you need to look at this and all this kind of stuff. And they would go over there and look at it or whatever the case may be. And they would be like, come on, Tamara, this is like straight BS, okay? They would tell me off the jump, like, I can't believe like somebody so intelligent as yourself could get caught up in what this man says. And that's how, let me tell you something, that's how brainwashing works. That's how they get you, okay? If you don't know anything about me, when I was a teenager, 16, 17, 16, 15 years old, or whatever the case may be, I wasn't out there, you know, liking boys and all that kind of stuff. I was more in the church, okay? So I was more in the church. And it was a lot of things that the people would say to me in the church that made me believe, you know, everything that the church said was true. You know, I thought that that church was the only church that went to heaven, and you know, men sat on one side of the church and the women sat on the other side of the church. Unless you was married, you wasn't able to touch another person of the opposite sex unless you was married to them. Another thing is, I used to wear dresses all the time. I used to wear skirts all the time because you did not want to wear anything that was pertaining to a man, like made yourself attractive to a man, okay? And I believe that 100%. And guys, I used to be that person that had a Bible, and all I would do is quote you scriptures, okay? That's all I would do. I would tell you that you need to get your life together. I would tell you that you need to get saved. I would tell you all that stuff, right? And I believed it, okay? And I kind of walked around like I was a zombie. I didn't too much care about my appearance. You know, it was what it was. I was not interested, and, you know, it was just what it was, right? And this whole situation with the Derek Jackson thing, I was like, I wasn't shocked because, you know, after a couple of videos or whatever the case may be, and I was like, come on, you know, it was just a little bit too much. You know, he was just feeding himself to these, you know, women. And it was like, after a while, you kind of like snap out of it because it kind of got to be to a point whether it was too good to be true, I would say. And the reason why I would say that is because every single time he would go after all these other men and point out all the wrong that they was doing. And then he would say, you know, if you're a real man, or if you this type of man, you would be doing this and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, how in the world a man so attractive, like the way he is, okay? He never talked about his wife. He never put her on. You never saw anything about her, but he had all this relationship advice and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, we was sitting there drinking the Kool-Aid. We was just like, especially if you were single. Okay. Now, if you were like in a relationship, or you was married or whatever, and you had a husband there by your side or whatever the case may be, you know, 9 times out of 10, your husband was not going to tolerate you sitting up there listening to another man giving relationship advice. Okay. So, you know, if you know you married or whatever the case may be, you probably never came across Derek Jackson or knew who he was or whatever. He more appealed to all the single, like, ladies that was either going through something, that was like just fed up with men, that was just like, you know, going through a divorce, that was just like, you know, over cheat, you know, found out that they men was cheating and all that kind of stuff. So Derek just kind of said all the right right things that you wanted to hear, not because he was right. It was because we wanted to hear it. We wanted somebody to say it. Okay. And he was just that person that fed into those emotions of what women go through. And I know Ryan, oh my God. Okay. And we as women, we are emotional beings. So you can play to our emotion a lot. And if you watch something and watch something and watch something over and over and over again, and a person is saying everything that you want them to say, or everything that you are feeling, or whatever the case may be, you kind of tend to believe that and kind of feed into it. And I know I got caught up in the sauce. Okay. I was out there on the truck. I wasn't with my husband. I was going through some stuff, all this kind of stuff. And here comes Action Jackson on the big screen telling how, about our feelings and relationships and how they work and what type of man we need to be looking for, and how us women should hold ourselves accountable, all this kind of stuff. We were just sitting there just, yes, Deborah, yes. Okay. He had an amen section for everybody. Okay. And the man was just like, this man right here. Okay. And a lot of like real down to earth men would tell you, like, especially if you was old school, okay, men would tell you, be like, come on, Tamara. It's the same thing as when Steve Harvey did the act like a woman, think like a man thing, and we was just all at the movies, and women was just reading the book, and we was just following the 40-day rule. Remember the 40-day rule? Do y'all remember the 40-day rule? Okay. How you wasn't supposed to sleep with a man until this, that, and the third. How you wasn't supposed to do this till this, that, and the third. And we sitting up there reading a book, word for word. I remember when Steve Harvey came out with the act like a woman, think like a man, and then they did the book, then they did the movie. I remember, okay, I vividly not only got the book, not only read the book, okay, I tried to practice what the book was saying, okay, because obviously Steve Harvey knows, how to be in a relationship. Was it the 90-day rule, Ryan? I read that book. I went to the movies. I practiced it. You couldn't tell me nothing about Steve Harvey, okay? And then it's like, you get so caught up in other people. And I've learned this from when I was brainwashed, when I was, all up in the religion and quoting scriptures. And this lady, his wife, because she's going to eventually, y'all, she's going to snap up out of this. Something is going to get to her that she's going to snap up out of it. But I see her same pain because that's the way I looked. Like, I didn't care about nothing. I didn't care about the way I dressed. I didn't care. Sometimes you could be so over a situation, or you could just be so numb to a situation. Like, you just really don't care. Like, you can't believe another lie. You can't, whatever the case may be. But the only thing that I feel, and this is my personal opinion, the only thing that I feel that is holding her marriage together, because y'all know us as women, and especially as African-American women, we strong, we proud. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we're not going to let just anybody walk all over us, okay? You will hear our mouth. We going to be tearing up something, throwing stuff out the house. We just not about that quiet stuff, okay? We don't react like that. You tell me that you messing with my man, you gonna pay some kind of way. Either I'm burning up something, I'm putting something on flat, somebody going to jail, the hospital, it's gonna happen. We're not gonna sit there and hold hands, okay? So, but with that reaction, she is so far removed from it. And when you believe, and when you put religion in it, Okay, the religion part of it is going to tell her to stay with her husband because this is the devil's work. You know, the devil is trying to break you up. The devil is doing this and the devil is doing that, and God is supposed to, you know, and when you quote scriptures like she quotes scriptures, that is exactly how I was. Guys, let me tell you something. You could sit up there and tell me anything, and I will come back to you with a scripture. Okay, nothing you said matters. So everything that people is saying about her appearance, about, you know, the way she's reacted, all that kind of stuff, it's not phasing her. Like, those words are not phasing her. And I know that because I was there. Whatever people said to me about wake up, that's not reality, all that kind of stuff, it did not faze me at all. I just sat there like, you have like kind of it's a shield. It's like can't nobody penetrate you. And every time somebody say something to you, you go directly to a Bible, you go to a scripture, and you read the scripture, and the scripture and you take that scripture and you flip it around, right? And try to make it on other people like they at fault, you know, like they're gonna burn and go to hell and all that kind of stuff. When a woman is talking about the armor of God, the breastplate of Jesus, and the going to war with child, that is brainwashed. That was what I was doing. Okay, if y'all knew me when I was 15, 16 years old, that was Tamara Brock sitting right there, like, okay, Jeremiah 5:7, whatever says da 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 da. Everything that I said, I will come back to you. I will come back to you in the scripture. And the sad thing about it is Derek knows that. Okay, he knows how to play to her emotions. He knows that because of her love for God, you know, for God, that she's not going anywhere. It's going to take some one-on-one like counseling. And I don't know how I came up out of it, but it was, my mother had to take me I remember going to see somebody. They took me to go see somebody, and everything that I was telling them, they was coming back to me with something. Everything that I was telling them, they kept coming back to me with something. And eventually it got to the point that the people that I was with in the church started revealing themselves. And I started questioning, and I'm like, that ain't what y'all said. Y'all said once you save, you always save. So how is it that y'all getting resaved again? You know, I started questioning things that didn't make sense to me. So once that happened, I had like a break. It's like a breakthrough that you get. And then what happens after that, you don't trust in you. That's why I don't go to church today. You know, I will read the Bible, or I believe in the Bible. I believe in God and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not going to get under anybody's preaching or speaking or telling me how it is that I'm going to heaven. Okay. I learned what is called discernment. And so I just asked God to let me be able to understand the Bible on my own and get that own understanding, and not by anybody else, and let me go through it that way, you know? So it was very heartbreaking, because after that, I couldn't trust anybody. I couldn't trust anybody that was in the church. I couldn't trust a preacher. I still don't trust a preacher today. You know, all that extra. I don't do all of that. I have to read the Bible for myself, you know, and I just felt her pain, and I knew what she was going through, but reality just hasn't set in, you know. And when he came on the screen, I didn't see like the first video, I didn't see like the and yeah, and what is it? Naja says if you want to understand the Bible, you must learn the origins. And I do agree with you on that, because the more that I started digging and the more that I started learning about religion and different religions and all that kind of stuff, it was like, wait a minute, how in the world that I just think what I believe is gospel, like with being a Baptist or whatever. Like my religion is what I believe. I didn't realize that there's so many other religions out there. How in the world mine is the only one that is the right religion? That was crazy when I started learning about Muslims, Mormons, all these different types of religion. And I'm sitting here thinking that my religion and what I believe in, we're the only people, Baptists or whatever, is the only ones that's going to heaven. That's crazy. Okay. So I get where she's coming from, but was I surprised that all of this went down? No, not really, because nobody is perfect. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. And when we start putting people on pedestals, and thinking that they are holier than thou, that's when we get disappointed. We have to understand that everybody falls short. That means me, that means you, that means everybody falls short. So you have to be able to see it for what it is. Am I mad at him? No, not really, because it was my fault to fall for it. I should know better. I've been through this before, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't get so caught up in it that I just thought he was just a, savior or whatever of women or whatever the case may be. I didn't take it that far, but there are a lot of people that are very upset because he held himself and I guess made a lot of money off of his views and all the time that he was living kind of like a double life. And instead of being angry, I really feel sorry for him, because I kind of feel sorry for him, because to be able to be so up here and have people think so much of you, and then all this stuff start coming out and all these women start talking, and then you trying to tell one lie. Okay, you say one lie, okay, and that ain't the right lie. Okay, you should have waited till the whole story came out before you started making videos. Okay, so there's one video that comes out. Okay, then you gotta denounce that video. Okay, so now I have empathy for him. Anybody that is being attacked at this level, if you have a heart, you have to have some sort of empathy, especially if you believe that nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. I do have some sort of empathy for him. There is an issue, there is a problem. Okay. And it's what people believe. People just had so high hopes for him would come to and he was about to take off and go some other places, like the churches will start to accept them and all this other kind of stuff. So there was a lot of different things out there for him. And it's just like all of this come out, and it's like some people were surprised, some people was not, and the typical male, not all men, but some people, the good thing is when your hand is caught in the cookie jar, just say what it is. We would have been, I think people would have been able to accept it a whole lot better if he would have been like, listen, I ain't perfect, y'all. I was sitting up here doing this, that, and the third. I was messing around with these women. I was doing da. My wife sitting right here. I ain't told her nothing. She just finding out about it, just like y'all is, or whatever the case may be. It is what it is. I'm going to move on and have and be okay tomorrow. We're gonna heal from that. A lot of things that I think what made people so upset was, number one, he kept bringing God in it. Okay, everybody want to find. Could people start finding Jesus before they start cheating? Could we get saved and then go cheat? Now, everybody want to get saved after they cheat. Okay, after they get caught cheating. It ain't after they cheat. It's after they get caught. They want to find God and all this kind of stuff. Okay, let's just leave God up out of it. Okay, we don't have to go and cheat, and the reason we cheated is because, but now I'm with God, and I want to have all this, scriptures, and I'm going to church now, and I'm a better person, I'll be a better Christian. Just leave God out. When you throw God up in it, it just makes it a little bit worse. Okay, because if you done did all these videos and everything, and not one time have you mentioned Jesus Christ or quoted one scripture about the Lord, and all of a sudden you saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, and God is going to forgive you. Okay, that is just crazy to me. I don't understand that. All right, but hey, whatever floats your boat. If he would have just been like, look, this, that, and third, I think it would have been a whole lot easier, or whatever the case may be. But the things, I don't know. As a woman, I feel bad for her. I feel bad I empathize with her. I empathize with her kids. Ain't no telling what she's been told or whatever the case may be. But, and I don't put this on nobody, but the way she sits there, and how kind of quiet she is, or whatever the case may be, there is a lot of emotional abuse there, because he plays on her emotions. If he can do that to millions of women on if he could do that to millions of women across the world, imagine what he can do to his wife. Okay, and having that power and control over her and that household, especially if you the one that is the breadwinner in the house. Okay, one thing I could say, like, how can a woman protect themselves? Like, protect yourself. When you get in a relationship with a man, or you married to a man, or whatever the case may be, and that man may want you to stay. He can't help it. He can't help it. When you so used to being on YouTube and being in front of the camera and all this kind of stuff, it's like it's something that feeds at you. I gotta make a video. I do the same thing. It's like, okay, I gotta do a video. You get caught up in, having subscribers and people listening to you. Probably ain't nobody listening to him at the house. So he get on there and make a video. But to embarrass her by a man, I feel, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, okay? A man, I feel, especially a man, this is not her boyfriend. This is not somebody that she just met or whatever the case may be. This is her husband. And a part of being a husband, you're supposed to protect. You're supposed to protect your household, your family, your children, everything. So you don't even want to drag your wife into none of that. He could have left her like to the side and dealt with this on his own. We would have never knew who she was. Okay. He could have did all of that, but to bring her in front of everybody and say, oh, she knows about everything. She knows about all the different women. She knows about people in her bed. She knows about this. And she just sitting there like, that woman is numb. She has no feeling whatsoever. And I feel like at some point she kind of blames herself. Maybe she feels like she wasn't what he wanted her to be, or she wasn't whatever. But I just feel like he did not build her up, you know. And he did. You supposed to build your wife up just like a woman builds her man up. A man is supposed to build their wife up. Good morning, how you doing? Oh, you look very nice today. Where you going? You know, just stuff like that. Always speak empowerment and positive vibes to the person that you took a vibe with. And she's just so broken. You could see it in her face, you could see it in the way she dressed. It comes through everything. Her whole being is just like, I'm numb. I'm numb to the fact, there's nothing else that you can say to me that could make me feel no more worse than I already felt. You already told me that you did this, you did that, and me. Where y'all get this? Bring in this, the woman. Where y'all get that from? Where y'all get to bring in the woman to your house and bringing the woman in your bed? Y'all don't got enough. Y'all don't got no money to like go to the hotel. You can't like take her to the hotel or anything like that. Why in the world you got to bring somebody to the house where your kids are, where you know, that's just a little too much. Okay, if you gonna cheat, somebody said if you gonna cheat in silence. Like, y'all just don't know how to do it. You just, you tell on yourself. But I just feel like emotionally she's broken. Is she going to recover? Is she going to heal? Yeah, eventually. She's just not there yet. Because I think she's struggling, especially if you got a man that's bringing in millions of dollars. Okay, especially if you got a man that's bringing in $1 million and you really are not bringing in that money. First and foremost, you worried about. If you ain't worried about yourself, you worried about your kids. Okay. You worried about where my kids going to grow up. Am I going to have to fight him from child support? Where am I going to stay? I'm going to have to go back and live with my mama and all this kind of stuff. Am I going to have to, this, that, and the third. You worry about that. A lot of people struggle with them being separated from their spouse because of the kids. Some people stay in relationships because of the kids. They know their spouse cheating or whatever the case may be, and they'll stay there because they don't want their children to be raised in a single parent home. It's crazy. I don't tell women that they should stay in their relationship. I don't even tell women that they should leave their relationship. I've never been a person that will tell you to stay or leave, okay? Because I'm not going to be the one that pays your bills. But I will be that person that will be there for you if you're ready to go. Now, I can help you get up out of there. If you said, Tamara, I ain't taking this mess no more, I'm ready to go, girl, come get me, that's when I'm there, okay? But if y'all going through it and he out there messing around and this, that, and the third, hey, I could be a shoulder that you can lean on, and you could tell me this, that, and the third, but telling you to leave or telling you to stay, that ain't none of my business, because, honey, I gets gone. Okay, I'm the one that will be out in a minute. Okay, you can't tell me to stay with nobody I don't want to be with. Okay, wrong, right, or indifferent. If I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. I'm out. Peace up, out of here. Okay, packing stuff and all. But I don't know. I just feel I hate that because it's a lot of women that go through that, and I can say that I've been in a relationship that I was like that. I wasn't married to the person. We was dating. And I lived in Florida. Okay. I lived in Florida. We wasn't married. We was dating. And we had been dating for 6 years. Oh, and another thing, he put his hands on her. Okay, I can promise you. And one thing, I don't know if she gonna hold that secret for him, but I know I could. It just I could feel it in my spirit that Derek done put his hands on that woman. He done put his hands on her. He done put his hands on her because ain't no way in a world, ain't no way in the world. He done got so angry that he done touched her. Oh yeah, he done touched her. And one thing, and either she gonna tell it, or she ain't. That's one thing about that. I know that man don't put his hands on her. I know, yeah. You could tell, honey, if you ever been in a situation where you've been abused or somebody put their hands on you, you could tell when another woman done got their got their hands put on. You could tell. Okay, you could tell a woman that ain't had nobody put their hands on them, and a woman that done had a man put their hands on her. It's two separate women. Okay, I'm telling you what I know. Um, but she reminds me a lot. She reminds me a lot of one of the relationships that I was in when I was in Florida, and it was the same thing. It was like he used his power, like he used this, like he would almost like he would convince me, like he would be like, "Come here, let me talk to you. Come here, let me talk to you. It ain't like that. This ain't going on." And he would get emotional. Okay, he would go so far with the lying and the cheating. He would break down crying. He would be crying. I ain't do this, and it wasn't me, and I wouldn't dare do nothing like that to you, and this, that, and the other, and everybody lying and all this kind of stuff. This man will break down and cry. Okay. And then after he broke down and cried, and if you still didn't believe him, then he would just go, off and just, be angry and all this kind of stuff to the point where he will have you thinking, okay, maybe I am crazy. Maybe, it's me. I'm coming to get you. Oh, that's that thing when they say, where you at? I'm coming to get you. You ain't going nowhere. I miss you. I love you. All that crazy stuff. That's it. Okay? That's it. All that craziness. Okay? Child, I had to put mine in jail 2 times. And at the 3rd time, the woman said, the judge said, Miss Tamara, she said, "You such a nice lady, sweet. Why do you keep letting this man do this to you?" And I kept telling the judge, "Cause I love him." And I just think, look, I told the judge, this is what I told the judge. Okay, I told the judge, I just think that he just got a problem. He just done been through so much, Judge. And if we could just get counseling, it will make him better. Child, I would be up in the courtroom. Okay, I can laugh about it now, but at the time, it wasn't a funny situation. Okay. So when I tell you that it's not something that I'm just looking at her like, girl, and I've never experienced nothing like that, I have. Okay, this man had me so emotional, so mental, so physically abusive. I mean, it was police report after police report after police report, and the police would show up, and they would be like, my name was Miss Marks at the time. They were like, "Miss Marks, are you okay?" "No, he did this and he did that," and this is what this man would do. Okay, this what he would do. He would wait till the police got there. He ain't run from no police. Not at first, he ain't run from the police. Okay, he would wait for the police. If I'm gonna talk about anything, I might as well talk about myself. Okay, so y'all could better understand how I understand this situation. Okay, this man, I was in a relationship with him for 6 years. Okay. When I met him, he was married, but he said he was getting a divorce. So I could call him like at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. He always answered the phone. I thought the man wasn't married because there was no wife. There was, nothing. They never went together nowhere, none of this kind of stuff. And I may have told y'all this story one time before in the beginning. I didn't find out that the man was married until the woman called my phone and came to my house. Okay. She called my phone and she said, Tamara, I just want to let you know that you are with what I do. Oh, she said, Tamara, I just want to let you know that is my husband that you sleeping with. And I was like, girl, what? I thought you said y'all was divorced. So I went in there, I went in the room and I said, look, your wife just called. You can't be here. I said, you married to her. You got to go, right? Child, this man looked at me and he looked at me and he said, if you don't lay your behind down somewhere, I know something. I ain't going nowhere. That's when it all started. Okay. And it did not get no better from there. Okay. It just got worse and worse and worse. So let's see. It's so hard to find female truck drivers in my country. I would like a girl like me, but it's hard here. I don't know where you from. But it just got crazy and crazy and crazy. And at the time, I worked for AT&T. And I remember one day my girlfriends called me and he had just took my car to Pensacola. I stayed in Mobile and he took my car to Pensacola, and they had called me and they said, Tamara, we got something to tell you. And one girl was on the phone. She was like, girl, don't tell her. And then the other girl was on the phone. She was like, go ahead and tell her. She need to know. Right. And I was like, tell me, what is it that y'all want to tell me? Go ahead and tell me. Hey, Russell, long time no hear. And the girl said, okay, your man, he actually going to see somebody else. He been with this girl and all this kind of stuff. I was like, what? And they was like, yeah, because this was the first time I ever heard anything like that, right? So I called them and I was like, come on, they told me you was doing it. This man came back in 30 minutes, right? Brought the car back. And he was like, no, that wasn't me. I wasn't da-da-da. They lying, this, and the other. And he was so convincing. I said, you know what, them women, all they do is be hating. That's why they ain't got no man writing down, because they be just hating on people. They don't never want nobody to be happy. So, I said, I apologize for, judging you and all this kind of stuff and da-da-da, this, that, and the other. Okay, girl. When I tell you this man was a pro, he was a pro. It took me 6 years to get out that relationship. It took him breaking me down emotionally, where I was on every medication in the world. I was on depression medication. I had to have a pill to wake up. I had to have a pill to go to sleep. I had a pill all throughout the day. I walked around like I was just in a zone. Okay. And I still had to work at AT&T. He would show up at my job. Every time I tried to leave him, he would show up at my job. He would be standing outside the door waiting on me. Okay. They would have to sneak me out the back door because this man was waiting in the front for me. Sometimes I would try to run to my girlfriend's car and sit in her car, and he would find me and get me and say, come on, let's go. Let's go. It was crazy. Okay. And I think, and the reason why I smile so much today is because that pain is behind me. I don't have to endure that anymore. And the thing that I got beat up so much about was I was so embarrassed because I was in that relationship for 6 years. And I remember when I went to counseling, and I remember the counselor telling me, saying, Tamara, you may have been in it for 6 years. Feel lucky, because there are women that's been in this situation for 20 years. There are women that are still in the relationship and don't have the strength to get out of it. So don't beat yourself up about it. Don't feel so. I'm just like, I supposed to be like a person. I worked at AT&T. I made good money. I paid all the bills. I brought him, a brand new truck. He didn't have to pay anything. The child support was paid. Everything was like done, and I was like, and it was like, you did everything. You did the cooking, you did the cleaning, you took care of everything. You took care of the house. How dare you, and I remember the last straw was a female called me on the phone, and she described everything in my house. Okay. She had been in my house for the weekend while I was gone away. And she described, he was so good. Okay. He was so good. He would take me out to dinner, and he would invite her to the same restaurant that we was. And we would be sitting at the bar eating, okay? She would come up with her girlfriend, and you don't think nothing of it, because you would think, okay, this is a girl coming up with another girl, they just over there doing their thing. The girl was sitting right there on the end of the bar while we were sitting there having dinner, and she would be like saying hello to him or whatever. They was doing something under the table, and I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, come on, let's go. I said, is you sitting up there flirting with that girl? And he's like, no, what is you talking about? But what happened, he would lie so good, and I gave him every opportunity. I was like, listen, if there's something going on, just let me know. I said, because I don't have to go look for it. What's going to happen is going to come to light, because eventually she's going to get tired of hiding. Okay. She's going to get tired of hiding. So she's going to let me know who she is eventually. Okay. So, and just like clockwork, I just sat there and let it come to play. And lo and behold, I get a phone call from a woman that says, I want to talk to you woman to woman. And I was like, oh Lord, here we go. It's about to hit the fan. Okay. And I had prepared myself for it, and I had got myself ready, and I already made up my mind that I was out of there. So when she came and told me and all that kind of stuff, I was like, thank you so much for telling me. I said, because if you didn't tell me, it just made it seem like I was crazy. And I said, I appreciate you telling me, because you validated everything that I knew that was going on. I said, but as far as today is concerned, he don't live here no more. His stuff is packed, and you can have them. And good luck with paying for the truck, because I've been paying for that. So, that's something that you can have. And it was a relief, because I didn't have to pay for all that stuff no more. I didn't have to pay for the car. I didn't have to help out with the child support. I didn't have to do none of that stuff anymore. Got my restraining order. Okay. And I left Florida. I left because I knew the only way that I was going to be able to get out of that relationship was either he was going to kill me or I was going to have to leave. And I left. I left Florida and moved to Mississippi and met somebody else. So it's when you're going through something like that, don't think that there is not somebody else that will be along that would treat you good. And it may not be. It may take some soul searching. It may take some building up. It may take some getting right with yourself and figuring out who you is. But it's somebody else out there that is willing to treat you good, the way that you're supposed to be treated. You do not have to sit there and take nothing from nobody, especially if you are a female. And even if you're a female that don't have a job, or you at home taking care of the kids or whatever, you can always get yourself out of a situation. So my thing to you is never let anybody verbally abuse you, mentally abuse you, physically abuse you for no reason at all. You're better than that. Okay, I've been through it, and a lot of times, I had to find my own strength to get out of it, and you can. Even if you don't assist, you can when the money coming in or whatever, put that money to the side, save up, whatever it is that you got to do to protect yourself, because at the end of the day, you got to save you. You got to save you. You got to realize it's wrong for another man to put their hands on you, no matter what they say. And a lot of these men will hit you and then cry about it. They'll cry because it hurt them more than it hurt you. Okay, I know how they do that. So you just have to find your self strength. And let me tell you something. Once you start building yourself up, once you start having self confidence about yourself, some men would tell you, ain't nobody else gonna be with you because look at you. You know, look at you. You overweight, you this, you that, you all kinds of stuff. They will tell you anything in the world to just break you down, to make you think like your self-esteem is really, really low. But you just got to understand and realize that you have a purpose, and you just can't depend on anybody else. You got to depend on yourself. And if you build yourself up, oh my God. Like, can't nobody even touch you. You can just start blocking the wrong people. Just start blocking. Like, you can see it coming. You know, um, you could just see it coming and just take care of you. Do you know how good it felt when I didn't have to buy nobody else nothing to eat? Do you know how good it felt when I was on that truck? And that's what trucking, to bring this all back to trucking, that's what trucking gave me. It gave me my independence back. It gave me my life back, because I didn't have to argue with nobody. I didn't have to sit on a truck with nobody and argue. I didn't have to, you know what? If I didn't like what somebody said, guess what? Click and hang up the phone and kept driving. And I had my own sense of making my own money. Oh my God, that feels so good. Making your own money, riding around, enjoying yourself, taking yourself out to eat, buying your own self something. You ain't got to worry about buying nobody else something. You just doing stuff for yourself. That feels so empowering, and it just feels so good. And you know what happens? You start to attract the right people in your life. You do. Because you're not broken no more. You've healed. When you give yourself time to heal and free yourself from that bondage. Now, one thing that's going to come to mind is you're going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I was in that for so long. It's going to be crazy to you. But keep in mind that you made it through. You're not a victim. You went through something, and what don't break you make you stronger. And now you know what to tolerate and what not to tolerate. And sometimes being by yourself is okay. It really is. It really is. And God bless the person that did all of that, because you don't have to do anything to anybody. They will get theirs. It will come back on them. Okay, it will come back on them. You don't have to do it. You don't have to get revenge. You don't have to do all that kind of stuff. All you got to do is walk away and leave that situation alone. Okay, God has a way of handling people on his time, not on yours. And let it go. And when you through, be through. Be through. Be okay with walking away and not turning around and closing that door and putting a nail in it. and don't go back. Okay. Um, but I'm just reading y'all comments. I'm so sorry, but I hope, if, and I know we go through different things all the time, and I know a lot of us, especially as women, go through different things um, all the time. And I just want to, let you know to take time for yourself, do for yourself. If you got to be by yourself for a minute until you can get yourself together, do that. And one thing that allows us to be able to do that is to be out on the road driving the truck. Okay. That really allowed me to have a lot of time to think and to get myself together and start focusing on Tamara and not worry about anybody else but myself, you know? So other than that, what comments do y'all have? Oh my God. I just went on a tangent. I'm sorry. I apologize. Let me see. But it just brought me to a place where I just wanted to, because I know as far as what we go through in the trucking industry, a lot of times as women, we're out there on the road, and some of us do have spouses. We don't know what they're doing while we're gone. Or who they with, or whatever the case may be. And it's just not just women being out on the road, it's men too. Men get cheated on too, just like women. Okay. They are not, we're not exempt. Okay. We can do some cheating too. Okay. That's how my first marriage ended. That's how my first marriage ended. Okay. It wasn't him that cheated, it was me. Okay. So, but that was when was that was, ooh, I got married when I was 17 years old, 1989. I stayed with him for 13 years, and we just outgrew each other. Nothing he did wrong. Nothing he did wrong. He was the best husband a person could be. He cooked, he cleaned, he took care of the kids. He, did everything that he possibly could do. And I just was not happy in the relationship. And instead of being a woman about it and telling him about it or whatever the case may be, I decided to sneak around and start lying and cheating. Okay. And it was somebody at my job. And I kept saying, I gotta stay at work. I gotta stay at work late. I won't be home. I gotta stay at work. I would leave him at home. He was taking care of the kids. Okay. I would say, oh, me and my girlfriend, we going on a weekend trip to wherever. Okay. And every weekend I was going on a girls trip with the same girl. Okay. So she had to cover for me every weekend. I used to hide my car like in the casino or whatever, so people couldn't find my car. And I would get in another car and I would leave and go out of town and just live my best life. Okay. And how it all came to an end was I couldn't take it anymore. It was like, I was just like, he was believing everything that I said. Like, and I was falling in love with that other person. And he was believing everything that I said. And I knew it was wrong. But I just could not help myself. I was just having such a good time. And I finally came home. And I told him. I eventually told him I couldn't lie anymore. I finally told him or whatever. And he said that he loved me so much that long as I didn't leave him, it was okay. And I was like, oh my God, no, I can't do this. So I decided to leave. And he was like, long as you don't take my kids or whatever the case may be, you could go on about your business or whatever. And I did, because I wasn't in love with him anymore. And I just felt like it wasn't nothing that could fix it. But I knew in my heart that the way I did him, it was going to come back on me eventually. right? And let me tell you, it did. Okay. So you don't ever get away with anything. I packed up my stuff. I left. I went and stayed in a 2-bedroom apartment, and I left everything at the house. I didn't take no furniture. I didn't take anything. And I paid child support. Okay. Because he had the kids. I paid child support. And only thing I took was my clothes. And I knew by my reaction and what I did, it was going to come on me. It was going to come back on me eventually. Okay, you don't ever get away with nothing. Don't ever think that you can get away with something. Karma is no joke. And when it came back on me, baby, I was not ready for it. Okay. So after I got through with that little relationship or whatever, because it never went anywhere. Okay. And I got into another relationship, that's when it came back on me. Somebody did me worse than I could ever do anybody else. Okay. And I knew at that time it wasn't nothing but karma. It wasn't nothing but karma. So after that, I realized, okay, I did my dirt. I got done the same way. I understand. I'm good. Okay. So, but other than that, I just wonder if my wife ever cheated on me, we both going to hell. Lord have mercy. Right man will make you feel 10 times more peaceful. Yeah, and I'm at peace. Man, when you don't when you have the right person, you don't think about no cheating, you don't think about entertaining people. That's just not on your mind. You know what I'm saying? It's just so many other things, and especially, people cheat at my age or whatever the case may be. But now that's something that I did like in my 20s, my late 20s. I was just reckless. Okay. But when you get 50 years old, it's like, come on now, you ain't got time to be lying, because if you tell one lie, you got to tell another lie. Then you got to tell another lie to cover that lie. Then you forget the lie that you told. Now you caught up in a lie, and at some point in time, you're like, I ain't got time for that. I just rather tell you what it is, you know. You gotta hide, and then sometimes you don't even want to, like, you can't even fathom, when you get sometimes when you get to like my age, it's like I gotta talk to you and I gotta talk to somebody else. I barely want to talk to you. I gotta pick up the phone when you call. Now I gotta be ducking and hiding and sneaking out and hiding the phone. That's too much work. Do you know how much work I had to put into cheating? Child, that was a whole lot of work. Okay, you had to tell everybody different lies. So as you grow older, sometimes as you grow wiser, it's like, why even bother? Like, why? You got to come up with excuses to leave the house, to go meet somebody. Okay? It's crazy now that you think about it. But honey, you couldn't tell me nothing back in the day when I was in my late 20s or whatever the case may be. You couldn't tell me nothing. Baby, I was there. But it's too much work. Cheat take a whole lot of work, especially if you not smart enough to cheat. Honey, I had to tell on myself because people didn't know. They didn't know. I had to go, I had to confess. I had to tell it. Men, men get caught every time. They can't help themselves. They tell on themselves. Women, we got to tell you, okay? Not a man. All you got to do with a man is just sit back and wait. That's all you got to do with a man. Just sit back. It's gonna come. It's gonna come because somebody ain't gonna be quiet. He gonna slip up. He gonna leave the phone. He gonna do something. Okay, it's gonna come. But women, child, it'll be 5-10 years before you figure out. We would introduce folks as cousins. Okay. Now we would put the numbers in the phone would be Pizza Hut. I used to have Pizza Hut, Domino's. What was it? Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's. Be like, Papa John's calling. What they want? Now it was shoot. And hand you the phone and be like, here, it's Pizza Hut. I said, Pizza Hut. Oh my God. Any comments? I'm sorry I don't ramble on. I just wanted to talk to y'all. Sometimes I just want to get away from, just talking about business or talking about trucking or freight or whatever the case may be. I like to just come in, just kick, we just having a general conversation. Tell me your thoughts. I'll tell you my thoughts. Miss Tamara ain't perfect. No way, honey. But I've been through some stuff. Okay. I've been through some stuff. And when that man came out, child, that was just, ooh, I was like, ooh, he about to go through it. Okay. He about to go through it, but he gonna be all right. One thing for certain, two things for sure. They both gonna be all right at the end of the day. Okay. At the end of the day, and we can feel however it is that we want to feel about it. We're going to go through some emotions, because it's like, but we can't put people on pedestals. We can't think that their word is everything. We always got to have our own discernment. We always got, if you're going to look to somebody for advice, especially relationship advice, when it comes to a man, the best person that you could look at is maybe your father figure. Okay. Maybe you could talk to your father, your dad. They can tell you advice about men because you're their child, their daughter, or whatever the case may be. You can talk to a therapist, somebody who's actually been trained and went to school and has a license and relationship counseling and things like that. I would talk to, them. You can talk to Jesus. You can talk to God. Okay. Sometimes, he'll give you an answer sooner or later when he get ready to let you know what you need to do. Okay. But, asking other people about advice on your marriage or your situation or what it is that you're going through in a relationship, that's a touchy subject. You just always have to beware of who you listen to. And if you're married and in a relationship, the first person, you're going to believe your spouse. That's who you took a vow with, but sometimes it takes people a little bit longer to wake up than others. So they both going to be okay. They going through something right now. No matter how anybody else can feel, maybe he could write a book about how to cheat, get caught, and get a divorce. I don't know. I'm sure it's some money that could be made some kind of way. Okay, but he does have a testimony. She has a testimony, and both of them, at the end of the day, could each tell their testimony, and either they stay together, which is totally up to them, or they move on, but the most important person that he is responsible to is the one that he took a vow with. So he either got to make a decision on, either I'm gonna make this work, and move on from there, or you're not. Either way, you got to make a choice. So, but I'm just like, oh my God. Then here comes another woman. Then here comes another woman. And then when the last woman came out and said she was just with the man last week, I said, oh my God. They just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. Just be like, listen, I messed up. Whatever y'all find out, y'all just find out. It's a done deal. Whatever the case may be, it is what it is. Okay. He's been cheating on her since high school. Probably so. Probably so. I don't know. It's like, but I didn't listen to him because I didn't know anything about his wife. I didn't never see her, or I just saw the little videos that he did, and I was kind of like intrigued by the way he spoke and how he spoke, and it kind of like started making. I was like, okay. I kind of started taking his perspective on a lot of different things. And I got caught up in the sauce, and I was just out there just telling other people about, you need to go and look at Derek Jackson. This man be talking some stuff, and he really gets it about women and this, that, and a third. But I don't know, some kind of way I didn't get hooked. I wasn't in there all hook, line, and sinker, like, every word he said, I believed, and every this, that, and the third, I stand on it and, ran my relationship by it. No, Because the first thing, if I ever went to talk to anybody about no Derek Jackson, anybody of the opposite sex, they quickly told me, child, you better get your life, okay? If you don't go somewhere talking about that man, I know something, okay? They quickly checked me on him, okay? Let me see. Hey, Virgil. Hey, DJ Jarvis. It's a fact. People that known them came out and said it. She need to check her cookie jar out with Doctor. Oh my God, he was laying so low, spring. Yeah, that is crazy. But hey, when you in that situation, you don't care. You don't think, you ain't thinking about nobody. It's all about self. It's all about self pleasing yourself. You ain't thinking about your wife. You ain't thinking about your kids. You ain't thinking about the consequences. You ain't thinking about that. You thinking about having a good time. You thinking about the moment and what you're doing right now. You ain't thinking about none of that other stuff. Okay, all that goes out of the window. The conscience and all that, it don't even kick in. It ain't even about you. Thinking about just living in the moment and having you a good time. Okay. And when you get, if it whatever, you don't even think about getting caught. Okay. None of that crossed that man's mind. He had it going on. He was a man of power. He has he's made a lot of money. Men of power, they feel like they untouchable sometimes. They could do what they want to do. They could treat people how they want to treat them. Especially if you got somebody that's sitting at home that, you got to take care of, and they don't have their own independence and their own money and all that kind of stuff. You could kind of run the show how you want to run the show. And either you going to be with it or you ain't. And if you ain't, I'd be darned. Some men with money and power, they be like, I'd be darned if I give anybody. You would have to break people over coals to get a couple of $100 from them. Okay. And they can have millions and millions of dollars, and they don't even want you. Okay. But as soon as you talk about leaving them and taking them to court and taking, the kids and all they have in the house and all that kind of stuff, child, you better be ready for a fight. Because men, they don't give up on no money like that. Okay. You're going to have to beat them down in the courtroom system to get the money. They ain't finna write you no check. When I was a fool, I didn't think about it, but when I became conscious, my soul told me it was wrong. I never felt guilty. No, I did. Yeah, I did feel guilty because I told on myself. I got tired of hiding. I got tired of lying. I got tired of trying to find somewhere to hide my car. Then they came and found my car one time, and then they wrote cheaters.com on my car and all that kind of stuff. And it got to be too much. Just because your partner don't know, don't mean the higher self don't. It just really got to be too much. It got to be too much. It had got to a point where he was finna tell it. And I was like, listen, let me tell you something. I got a whole lot more to lose than you do. You better keep your mouth closed, okay? And shut up and be quiet, okay? Don't you all of a sudden get a conscience now. We work for the military, okay? They don't play them games. We work for the military. They don't play them games. What you gonna be? You gonna do a confession now? You gonna do a confession? You finna go in there and tell them? You better get yourself together. Come here, let me talk to you for a minute. Listen. It's true. I mean, I'm not no better than nobody else. I made my mistakes. I did wrong, but I'm here to tell you that it will come back to you. I am a witness, okay, and it came back to me 3, 4 times worse than I ever did. Okay, I ain't never put my hands on nobody. I ain't never, whatever the case may be behind it. When it came back to me, baby, I wasn't even ready for it. I wasn't prepared for it at all, honey. It broke me all the way down, all the way down. Where I couldn't even think sometimes. I had to have somebody think for me, you know. Let me see. His image ruined that women would. No, you know what? It's gonna still sincerely, it's going to still be people that believe in him because, like I say, we as women, we are very emotional and we have a heart and, we empathize with people, you know, and he will still have a following, okay, especially with single women. He will still have a following. He'll be able to bounce back eventually, but people won't take it to the extreme as what they did before, you know, because he was like the only one that never had issues and just said everything right. He just said everything right. So, but no, he'll still have a following. He may not make as much money as he once did. It will hurt him monetarily as far as in his pocket, but it's something that he could bounce back from. Cheating ain't the worst thing in the world. Okay, it happens. Okay, people do it. Um, because the only person that got to deal with it is his wife. I don't have to deal with it. You don't have to deal with it. Nobody else has to deal with it but his wife. So he can come back from that. He can redeem himself from that. That is not, whatever. As far as him giving relationship advice, he might want to try something else, but he'll bounce back. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. It's going to hurt him in his pocket a little bit, but he'll be all right. He'll be all right. Maybe he'll get be a preacher. See, Derek? Okay, be a preacher. You done gave yourself over to God. Now you can go and preach. That's what they do. They go be preachers now. They get saved, sanctified, open their own church, take up collection. There you go, Derek. I got you. You don't have to do the relationship no more. Go open your own church, be a preacher, get your following. There you go. So keep it moving. Keep it moving. We have all come short. Don't, worry about it. You're going to get through this. Be strong and keep pushing. Other than that, guys, it's been over an hour. Do y'all have any questions for me or anything? Freight broking class starts out like, look, I'm gonna do like Derek did. Derek starts selling his book. Derek said my book is 50% off. I fell out. Derek said my book 50% off, and you go and buy it. Okay, if you really want to know, you can go and buy the book for 50% off. I holler. When he said that, I was crying laughing. I said, go ahead, Derek. Do your thing. Sell your book because you got to pay them bills. Okay? Go buy the books. Help support. It's to help support the relationship. Him and his wife and them children. Other than that, guys, I got to go. I will talk to you guys later. It is Friday. And other than that, that's it. Peace, love, joy, and happiness. And you have a wonderful and blessed night.